Hi everybody! I made a video to show you a little of what I did last summer before the next summer hits. Of course, my story starts in Texas. Finding myself unable to deal with this concrete jungle any longer, and in spite of the crazy flood that tried to destroy my car, I decided to go ahead and volunteer with the U.S. Forest Service for the summer. They sent me to Wyoming, and so I left my beloved Texas, and before I got there, I took a side trip to Kansas and visited my childhood hometown. I went to the old church that my grandmother used to take me, and I was able to go into this spectacular building and sit in the same chairs that I used to sit in with her. Then I traveled west to Abilene, Kansas, and visited the President Dwight D. Eisenhower boyhood home. That's where I took my first school field trip as a child. Mrs. Eisenhower raised, I think, 7 boys in this little house. God bless her. Anyway, on my journey, I stopped at a Kansas rest area. Kansas, you can do better than this. Finally made it to Wyoming and just absolutely fell in love with it. I was going to be working in the Bighorn Mountains, and I went to the Porcupine Ranger Station to settle into the barracks that I was going to be staying at for the next several weeks with a few other female volunteers. It was really gorgeous. There was a brook that was running next to it. There was a fire pit. There was wildlife. We had visitors that were moose and deer and various other little critters. It was really pretty awesome. Most of my time was spent on the Medicine Mountain, where I was going to be an interpreter at the Medicine Wheel. And people would come to this visitor center, and then they would hike 1.5 miles up to the Medicine Wheel, which is a sacred Native American site. And that's what we did, the volunteers. We would hike up to the Medicine Wheel. We would take turns doing that. And the views are absolutely stunning. I mean, you know, what an office, right? The weather could change on a dime, and up at the Medicine Wheel is a little restroom that they built, and I was very grateful for that one day where I ended up hiding in there with 20 other visitors during a hailstorm. But for the most part, it was absolutely beautiful. It was a wonderful, wonderful place. It was a dark and stormy night. Seriously, 2 hours ago, I was so hot. Are you filming me filming you?
Yes.
And one day, it even snowed in July. But most of the time it was beautiful, like on the day that I hiked down to the Porcupine Falls area, or on the day that we got to take a river canyon tour. Then there was the day that I took a little side trip to Cody, Wyoming to hang out with some animals and beautiful horses, and a kind cowboy who tried very hard to teach me to lasso.
Ooh, that was close. That was close. I know. No laughing. There you go.
My gig was up in Wyoming, and I was able to get another one in Idaho. So I went through the Wind River Reservation, past the Teton Mountains, and finally arrived in gorgeous Idaho. There were some forest fires that year, and that's why the Tetons looked smoky. But in spite of the occasional smoke and the remnants of past forest fires, this was the most beautiful place I have ever seen in my entire life, and I fell madly, deeply in love with it. I stayed at the Atlanta Ranger Station in a house that was built back in the 30s. And the Greylock Mountain was in my backyard. Yeah, I didn't have anything to complain about. The mountain wasn't always so visible, however. This is smoke from the fire. There was wind earlier, and this was a lot more clear. And now, whoa, no wind, and the smoke has settled in. It's already getting pretty smoky. And we have added some horses and mules. Mules being a cross between a donkey and a horse. When you see the contrasting pictures, you'll see I'm not lying to you. There really is a mountain over there. That is smoke. That is not haze or fog. Or some serious smoke. In fact, although you probably can't see it, there's little teeny tiny pieces of ash on me. Now they said that we're in no danger right here. I sure hope that's still true. And of course then there was Ezra, a wonderful but needy goat who used to hop up on the old coal chute and stare at me through the window until I would go out and play with him. And we have a new visitor this evening. This is a boy, but I call him Clementine. Yes, it's a goat. And he loves this peanut butter. Okay, gotta smack them lips together a little bit. Did you eat those oats I gave you? This poor little guy was lost. And some hikers found him. And of course they brought him to me. I don't know anything about goats. Except this one likes peanut butter. The hikers who found him spoiled him rotten. Totally spoiled him, but the poor little guy has been lost for at least a week, we know. And hopefully his owner will come and get him soon. Oh yeah, life out here is never boring. You have no manners, Clementine. No manners at all. So I miss that old goat, and I miss Idaho, and I miss the dirt roads, and the water, and the hot springs. It was truly a magical place. I'm very glad that I volunteered with the U.S. Forest Service. I don't think I'll probably do it again, but I have absolutely no regrets. And I look forward to going back to Idaho again one day, hopefully soon. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.